So we found some stuff today about your shoulders, didn't we? Whether it's a mobility deficit, a stability deficit, or just not being able to strengthen well, you got a good idea of where you're at and what you need to work on. And I really hope you use these new skills and knowledge to make yourself a better athlete, to make sure that the shoulders are a little bit more resilient, decrease pain, increase your performance. Now, if you're anything like me, already forgotten what we talked about. So I just want to do a little recap, talk about what we talked about, and remind you of the exercise and movements that we did. So we have three phases in the athlete's life cycle. We have the rehab phase, we have a build phase, and then we have a perform phase. Now, obviously with the rehab phase, that's when we have pain, injury, limitation, dysfunction. We can't really do everything that we want to do. And because that is caused by our shoulders, in this case. The build phase is when we're feeling kind of good, we're getting moving and grooving, we're able to load a little bit, and we're learning basic human movement. We're able to move overhead, we're able to load a little bit. The perform phase is a little bit different for everybody. This is the phase that when you close your eyes and imagine this perfect world of rainbows and unicorns and butterflies, this is what you're doing if you have absolutely no limitation. And for a lot of us, it's going to be hitting PRs. It's going to be having longevity. It's going to be able to work out, do a training session, live your life with confidence. And unfortunately, a lot of us are not living in our performance world. Now notice the performance world isn't fighting in the UFC, going to the CrossFit games, doing a high rocks competition. This is deeper than that. This is different because we have those people who are those high level athletes, but we also have the person who just wants to go walk their dog, who wants to do a hike, who wants to be able to enjoy the community that they're part of without being concerned about days and days of pain. That performance is your world. So as we're going through this, just think about what is that perform phase for me? Now, what we talked about today was you can't do these things, most of you except me with my perfect shoulders, because the shoulders are limiting you, whether that's mobility or whether that's stability. We wanted to figure out the why. Why can't we do those things and dig a little bit deeper? Now, of course, this was just a basic evaluation that we did with multiple people at the same time, and we can't get too specific. To get to this world, we need to customize, we need to be specific, we need to dig deep. It just wasn't what we were doing today. So what we said was, we have shoulder issues, now let's try to find those problems. So we created a problem list. The problems that we talked about weren't very deep. They were talking about the glenohumeral joint, the shoulder. It was talking about that T-spine, the mid-back, and then it was talking about the scapulothoracic joint, the shoulder blade. Now with the glenohumeral joint, we looked at flexion and external rotation. So reaching overhead and then being able to get this position like that, right? So overhead movements, snatches, clean jerks, front rack, thrusters, stuff like that, right? Then as we went into the thoracic spine, we looked at rotation and extension. And then for the scapulothoracic joint, we really didn't do an assessment because I think everybody needs to work on it, but really we're looking at stability. Now, throughout the assessments, you were able to pick up on the things that you needed to do. You were able to pick up on, oh wow, I have really good range of motion, but I actually can't control that end range of motion. Or my external rotation looks good out here, but as we brought it into that horizontal adduction position, it just wasn't as good. So as you were picking up those things, I hope you remember the importance and what you were limited in, because that's going to be key. Not every exercise is good for every person. If you're hypermobile, you probably shouldn't stretch, right? But I hope you're able to remember and understand the importance of the specific movements for you, right? Because once we said, okay, these are the problems that I had, what we did was we went over the exercises, or what I like to call the fix. Now, obviously, these 5-6 exercises are not the absolute fix, but it's a good way to get started, okay? Because if these problems, and I think we drew this correlation, if these problems explain why the shoulders are so dysfunctional and painful, and the shoulders are stopping us from hitting PRs and having longevity and having confidence, we can then say, oh, let's figure out what the fix is, some exercise, some movements to help with these problems. Because if the problems explain the pain point, and the fix fixes the problem, then we can say that the fix is working on the pain point and is going to start us in that direction. So the exercise that we did, see, this is why you do the recording, because you forget. Okay, we did the soft tissue work, soft tissue mobilization for the upper trap, the infraspinatus, and the pec. And then we did the prayer stretch plus the lift off. And then we did the front rack band. Then we moved to the thoracic spine. We did the thoracic spine sliders. And then we did the open books for the people like me who just really don't have good thoracic mobility. Then after that, we did the elevated Zercher hold. Remember the unstable one? And then we moved that into the overhead position. So we'll say unstable, front rack, and overhead. Okay, now I'm not expecting you to remember all these exercises. There's gonna be a second video that we're gonna go through all of them, but I just wanted to give that overview and just to remind you of the importance and the value that we did today. Your shoulders may be feeling a little bit more mobile today. They may be a little bit sore. After you do new things, your body just does get a little bit sore. That's not a bad thing. That's just the body complaining that new things were done. So, exercises. Start with them every day. Once you get good at them, go down to every other day, then go down to once a week. Then you can start integrating these as your warm-up for your workouts, right? It's a really good thing. Like I said before, you're gonna have to do exercise for the rest of our life. That's why we do these things. So that means we have to support our body in our chase for longevity, right? This stuff is that good support. This is the recovery. This is the preparation. This is for pain. This is for performance. This isn't the only thing that you're going to do to get here, right? That's what this is for. That build phase, that's strength. That's CrossFit. That's high rocks. That's running. That's doing your accessory work. That's all the stuff that you're building, that general physical preparedness, getting you ready to do that specific work, that specific preparedness, right? Okay, so I know this is a lot. I know we went over a lot today. I know workshops, it's a rush. It's only an hour to go through all of this stuff. We like to do one-on-one work instead of group work because we're able to be a little bit more customized to you. But hopefully this gives you an idea of that progression forward, an idea that, hey, I don't have to live with this shoulder always bugging me. I don't have to avoid snatches and clean and jerks and overhead presses, and I don't have to always drop the weight, that I can get to the point that I have longevity, that I can hit more PRs, that I can say in my mind, I'm doing things that I never thought were possible. That's our goal. We want you to become confident that your body can support your active movement, that your active lifestyle, whether that's a CrossFit lifestyle, jiu-jitsu lifestyle, playing with your children lifestyle, swimming lifestyle, whatever you want, we want you confident, because honestly, in the end, what we wanted you to do is this: go do cool stuff. That's what we're living for.